Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Everyone. Thank you for attendance today. After a very nice break in the weather yesterday, but I think we're going to pay for it maybe tonight, tomorrow. Anyhow, we'll begin. Call the meeting to order. The first item on the agenda is to approve the agenda. You've had a chance to look at it. Any additions, corrections that you'd like to make, or deletions?
I'll move.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner McIntyre to approve the agenda. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second by Councillor Kaler. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Very good, thank you. The next item is the minutes from November 17th. Those are in your packet. Have any additions, corrections, deletions?
I'll move to approve if there's no additions.
Thank you, Mayor Dill. We have a motion to approve,
I'll second.
and we have a second by Commissioner McIntyre. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Very good, thank you. Next item is the Treasurer's Report. Treasurer Kaler.
Yeah, first off, I'll do the HEDA report. There are no transfers. Everything else seemed to be in order, so I would recommend approving the financials.
All right. We have a recommendation from Treasurer Kaler to acknowledge the financial report for Koochiching Economic Development Authority. Do we have any
Can I just add,
inquiries? Yes.
can we add prior authorization for the Bremer bill when it comes, or the Old National credit card?
Yes.
Yeah, we
Just
have,
prior
I didn't
authorization
know
for.
The Bremer credit card.
we did.
All right. That's in addition to the Treasurer's Report for KEDA. And we have a motion by Treasurer Kaler
Second.
and to include that. And the second by Citizen Hanson, which I assume would include that addition also. Seeing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Very good, thank you, Treasurer Taylor. Please continue.
Then next is cold weather testing. And there is a transfer of $15,000 from JLR to KEDA. With that, everything else also seemed to be in order. So I would recommend approving.
Yes.
It's just one point of clarification. In the memo line from we did receive the one, as you know, Bremer Bank is going through a transition to now Old National. We did get the cold weather piece of the Bremer, or the Old National, and it's a $10,000 charge. That was a request from JLR. They needed a portable shelter. If they work on electric vehicles, they have to have. They can't work on them inside the shop in case there's a fire, given the nature of electric vehicles. So they asked us to, so this will be reimbursed. But in the interest of time, we ordered it on their behalf, and it is actually constructed and up in place. So it's not entertainment. $10,000.
Well, I was wondering. I was thinking of the Minnesota Vikings there for a second yesterday when I was
Is it
going through that.
can it be dual purpose for ice fishing?
It's not portable, but if you wanted to drill some holes, I'd have at it.
Yeah.
Any other questions? of Treasurer Taylor. Yes,
Are we getting paid these days?
Yes, we are. In fact, we did get some reimbursement, correct, Kyra, from JLR. That's yeah. So we're comfortable with where we're at. You know, you notice those bills for the startup of the season are somewhat high, but that includes the annual check from our refrigeration people for the cold boxes and everything else ramping up, including that $10,000. But we're off and running. So, but thank you.
any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Very good, thank you, Treasurer Taylor.
Yes. I never knew my life would ever be so involved with refrigeration between there and Kerry
Next
Park.
item is the Business Park inquiry.
Thank you, Mr.
Director.
Chair. Yeah, if I could just do introductions, Dr. Taylor and his office manager are with us. And I want to commend Commissioner Roach for actually starting this whole discussion. They were, and I'll let Dr. Taylor tell his story, but in terms of a location, Commissioner Roach suggested they talk with me and this body to help their next chapter in their journey here in Cooch County. So with that, I'll let Dr. Taylor and his office manager talk about what they'd like to do in terms of a location here in International Falls.
Well, good morning, committee members. It's a pleasure to be able to come here and speak to you this morning. My name is Dr. Donovan Taylor. I'm a practicing veterinarian now of over 3 years. Some of you may know me if you ever saw me when I used to work over at Rainy River Veterinary Facility. In the last year, what I've been doing is providing remote services for the area by doing a mobile veterinary clinic out of my vehicle and out of my house, going to people in their homes doing typical small animal vaccinations, wellness care, even doing emergency care through, through a lot of the ambulatory services that I provide. What I'm proposing today and what I'm asking your help with is in buying a plot of land so I can build a facility up here to accommodate not just our town, but our county in general. For those who do not know, the state of Minnesota, especially northern Minnesota, is in pretty dire straits for veterinary care right now. We're in a shortage across the state. And so in terms of getting care, especially emergency care, a lot of that is getting shipped to the larger cities. And we don't see a lot of that in the small towns that we are kind of in up here today. The proposal, I brought a plan with me as well that we can pass around if you'd like. So you can see I've been working with Koochiching architecture out of Bemidji. We're trying to build a hybridized facility that will not just accomplish the typical, 9 to 5 vaccinations and typical exams of animals, but will be a full encompassing emergency care facility for pets and for not just companion animals, but also for our farmers and ranchers. This facility is one that I've kind of conglomerated through the multiple different facilities I've worked at, both in Gonvick, Minnesota, as well as in Grand Rapids, both the places I've shadowed. And this facility will be able to house also the large animal or our farmers. They'll be able to bring horses, cattle, pigs, anything they need into the facility to be treated as needed, where they're going to be accruing less of a cost by bringing the animal to me than for me to go out to them. So a little bit easier in terms of winter time. As we all know, 40 below is not easy to go out and do things. So what we're asking today is to try and do a land agreement to purchase a plot. As we see up here on the board for the business park, the plot in question is going to be to the west of Main Avenue, plot number 2.
Lot 2 and Block 1, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
What?
This lot number 2.
Yes.
This lot is cleared. Commissioner Roach is across the street here, and this has actually been
Developed into a road.
Yeah, and this is the road here. So, in terms of your needs, this would actually work well for
Yes. Yeah, for
trailers.
egress and stuff of people coming in and out. The reason we had discussed this plot is because it does come back a bit from the roadways, so people are not going to be putting their animals loose in high traffic areas, as well as for those that need to bring large animals like horses. We're not encumbering anybody that's on the major roadways, so they're not in anything like that. If you'd like, I can pass around the schematics right now of what we're proposing. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to ask at this time. This project that we're looking at, I'll let you pass that around. This project that we're looking at, by no means is it going to bring, I'd say, hundreds of jobs into the facility, but this is more about servicing the area and the community itself. We're looking probably right now at a small staff of initial startup and growing as the years go on. For those who do not know, I also have a significant other, my girlfriend, Dr. Madison McGonigal. She currently works in Grand Rapids as a veterinarian. Once this facility is up and running, she will come back into the area, so that will supply 2 vets to this facility, with the option of in the future trying to get a 3rd in there. So we have a little bit more rotation of people doing emergency care. Staff-wise, we're looking at probably a core staff of 6 to 10, depending on rotation of who needs full-time hours or part-time hours. We won't provide any kind of services like boarding care, as there is significant amounts of people, both technicians that I know that I used to work with, that are doing at-home doggy daycares and stuff. But we will have facilities to house animals, say overnight, or hospitalize them for extended periods of care. We also have put in this proposal, you'll see a large garage system. That's the one we talked about before for the large animal side, where people will be able to pull a full trailer in underneath cover, so animals will not be able to get loose once they're removed from that vehicle. There's also a chute system and stalling and stuff for the farm animals, so they'll be contained in that section.
I'm going to just add to that, if you don't mind. What he's speaking of is, it's a great, and coming from the large animal side of it, because I'm an equestrian judge and deal with horses and cattle and all that all the time. We have, as far as in this area until Donovan has gotten up here, large animal vets, our large animal vet had to come from Bemidji for years and years and years. That's a good 2-hour drive. You start looking at your mileage on that call, it's $100 just to get your vet up here, so you better hope it's a really good emergency, or you've got about 5 or 6 other people who can come on in. So right now, large animal veterinary medicine in this, not just our county, but Roseau, Itasca County, northern Itasca County is,
Even the Iron Range.
the Iron Range is non-existent. You cannot find large animal vets. And the ones that are here, the one that has been servicing the area, Dr. Gil Mosier, is ready to retire. So that leaves us with nobody. So this is a service that is so direly needed in this area, and this clinic would not be just servicing Koochiching County, it would be servicing Roseau, would be serving all of these counties, because these people will be coming up here, bringing their animals, especially their large animals, small animals, and emergency services like he specified. Right now, it's Duluth, Fargo.
That's it.
That's it. So if your dog, your cat, or whatever has an emergency that has to be done, where you need something immediately, got hit in a car, they need, ambulatory service some type that they need to have leg spin or whatever, you're going to drive 2 hours to Duluth, or you're going to Fargo. And that's just not servicing the pet community or the livestock community at all. So it's a service that, he's bringing to this area that I think is really needed. And especially with things the way they are today, and our area being as remote as it is, and as the weather can be a little bit dicey, especially in the wintertime. Things still happen in the wintertime. So I think it would be a great service. The large animal part, I think, is the one that is really key, in that you can take your vehicle, drive into the facility, unload your horse, your cow, whatever, not on the asphalt where it's icy or snowy or out amongst every looky-loo that's there. You drive right in the facility, you take that animal out, they are taken care of, there's chutes, everything else, and then you load them back up and you drive them out. So that's never even out into the public. So,
and I'll add this, because again, we of course are talking about the large animal. I'm sure most of us here aren't in the large animal or farming industry. This facility too doesn't just focus on that. I know it's a big component of what we're trying to push, and the fact that it's a service not available around here. But the small animal side of this project too is going to bring in a lot of aspects of emergency care. We're going to have a lot more diagnostic tools available with a facility of this size and nature. We're going to have a lot more access to having an animal in right away with the way the facility has been designed. But one of the things I've also made sure to add in this proposal, which we don't see a lot of in clinics other than the corporate clinics, is actually a grief room. It's been proven in a lot of studies right now and reports out that having a dedicated room for clients to bring their animals when it is their time to be put down, they don't want to come into an exam room with a cold steel table. We've added something where it's going to be far away, where they can be taken in and out without having looky-loos and gazing eyes on them or feel like they're in a cold, sterile environment. I've found, as doing home euthanasias right now, for those who don't know, I go into homes and help people and the suffering of their animals. it's a very difficult situation to bring an animal to you, especially when you're sitting on a table or a chair and it's not comfortable. And we've added something in with this aspect as well to make sure that clients are more comfortable in their situations. So yes, if you guys again have any questions about the layout or the prospects of what we're dealing with here, by all means, I'll happily field any questions.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
When I can attest that animals can get loose over there on the highway because a big white dog was found once laying in the middle of Highway 53. No ideas who it was, but yeah.
Well, thanks, folks, for coming in, and there is obviously a real large need, and I like the fact that you've gone around and taken the best components of other clinics and incorporated. So it's a big move forward for the county, as you say, and the region. And it's great that you're working with Koochiching, because he knows the local trade. I know you worked with Kelly Myers, the city's building code inspector,
And Mike Heidel's probably going to be doing the construction.
terrific,
Yep.
Yes.
terrific.
Okay.
And
You'll probably see me over there on the
Yeah.
contractor too.
But,
So,
I talked to Mike yesterday. He goes, "Okay, we got to meet up next week."
yeah.
that's great.
Unfortunately, I've had to relieve a lot of the conversations to other people with her because I'm too busy on the road right now. So as my office manager, she's been handling a lot of that.
Yeah, you can sure reach out to me if you have any questions
Oh, perfect.
about
Thank
Great.
other things.
That's great,
I'll
but
get your contact information, please.
Okay.
But overall size, I know I've got the layout here, but what's the approximate square footage is?
So he's been having a hard time because of all the like zigzagging and stuff. We're looking at, I believe it's about 165 by 125, so that puts us in the quick math on that is like what 8,000 square feet or something like that. By the time you get it all said and done with all the cutouts,
Yeah.
in terms of parking lots and stuff, if you add that in, it'll be a bit bigger.
Right now, the
of course,
parking has to be moved a little bit from that
Yeah.
schematic that you've got there. They've gotten back to us and said that it's just a little tight on the one edge. We just got to move some parking spots over. But other than that, it should be okay.
And I love the garage aspect when you drive in,
Yeah.
but that's why he's comfortable. You can put it in that.
Yeah, yes, and he put a layout for me. I just wasn't able to print it out in full today, so
Perfect.
he did do an overlay on the plot.
So, and again, thank you, Commissioner Roach, for kind of directing, because I think it's a good fit for the business park, although the zoning in that, sorry. The zoning is as M1 manufacturing, but talking to the zoning commissioner, Kelly Myers, that we'd have to get a conditional use permit for this use, but I still think it's fitting for the location, and actually a good fit for the location. So, and in the past, what we've done is we've used our standard developers agreement, basically outlining that we would sell the property, and I think we're going to use it's approximate to the one we sold Commissioner Roach, so we would use that valuation for this. It's the same size approximately, and then basically outlining that they will construct a facility, and we'll put the particulars in here. But if the board agrees to move forward, we would use this document to provide the title of the property to these folks. So.
Any other questions, comments? Yes.
Wonderful that you're here, Doctor. Thank you. I've heard through neighbors that you've done a wonderful job, and the service you've been giving has been great. And there's no one that doesn't understand that a pet is just not a.
It's not just an animal; it's a family member.
Family member.
Yeah. So thank you for coming, and I do know that your service has already been used, and good word follows you.
Thank you, and I appreciate you guys letting me come here.
Yeah, and then thank you to Ricky for helping us out too. He's been very instrumental in helping to get things going. So much thanks to Ricky.
This is fantastic.
Yes.
You guys are very welcome, and like I say, if it comes down to it and you guys have a problem with room, my lot will be adjacent and right hooked to yours, basically, so we'll be able to use my property at the same time to make loops or do whatever we have to do.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Commissioner Roach, I'm going to call you the commissioner of the business park because you are a very good neighbor and really have helped to grow what's there. So thank you again.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
sorry I can't be there in person.
Okay.
You sure you're not driving?
Thank you again for being here. It
Thanks.
sounds like a wonderful addition to Koochiching County and our community and the general area.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for considering us.
Oh, for sure.
Yes.
Well, and the thing is, it will bring in, you know, when you do look like logistics, if you've got people coming in from far away, they're gonna come in. That comes in at night, they're gonna be staying in a hotel, they're gonna be, you know, they're not gonna be driving back home, wherever, so you can also bring revenue to the county just for that alone. So, I think it would be a really good fit, and I think it's something that would really help out the community in general,
Very good.
Very
Thank you.
excited.
Yeah, that's,
so.
Yes.
Sometimes I sit here and it's tough stuff. But this is wonderful, and in doing so, I would like to move that we ask Mr. Nevenin to move forward and let's get going.
With the developer's agreement for lot 2.
Yeah.
Yep.
The conditional use permit shouldn't be a big deal either for you guys.
Yeah, I've talked to Kelly Myers on that, and he said it shouldn't be a big issue, but it's a process.
Any other?
Well, I made that motion, Mr. Chair.
I'll second that motion.
All right. We have a motion
Thank you,
there.
sir.
Second, do we have further discussion?
Hey guys, just a question on that. See now, is there a fresh business coming in, gonna bring tax revenue back into our property? Is there any way we could do it like I did on the UPS property, Paul? We could sell it to them for $1 instead of trying to sell it to them at the same price I bought that other lot from?
I would leave that up to the board, but we've tried to be consistent, Commissioner, and we still think it's a fair price. We've taken on some expenses as part of our relationship with the business park. So it's basically a minimal cost, but to try to recoup some of the costs that we've incurred. So that's kind of what we've used as a kind of a yardstick. So, but again, I would leave that up to the board.
All right, sounds good.
All right.
Maybe we can consider that at our next meeting.
Yes. Yes, I would say next meeting when we have time. All right. Anything else? All those in favor of the motion that Citizen Hanson put forth and Mayor Dill seconded, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. Thank you. Thank you
very
again.
much for having
Very
us.
much.
Enjoy the rest of your day and stay warm out there.
Have a blessed Christmas, everybody.
Thank you, Adam.
You as well.
Thank you.
We'll definitely get in contact.
You can go
Thank
buy the right terrain out there, see if you remember.
If
Yeah.
you need that.
you guys can keep a copy of that so you have your records and
Thank
stuff.
you.
Thanks.
Thanks, we'll be in touch.
Yes, take care.
All right. The next item is Mr. Doherty and the Voyager Country ATV.
Well, Mr. Chair and members, thank you for having me. Seeing some of the same faces that I'm preaching to every once in a while, but I've got some different content here today.
How about I say I need to be refreshed, what it seems like.
Yeah, is what it ultimately boils down to is we've suffered some growing pains. Voyager Country ATV has, in a good way. And anyway, I just did this last night, and when I sat down here, I saw a couple typos, but we'll just keep going. But basically, the mission of the ATV Club is to connect communities and enhance trails in northeastern Minnesota. That's what it all boils down to. We have a specific statement that we'll show here in a few minutes. So today, I just want to talk about the founding, the mission of the ATV Club, the development and signature projects, membership and community engagement, funding strategies, financial growth, and future directions and outreach campaigns. And there is a map here for you guys to look at. Those are kind of hard to come by. There is some available at the Visitors and Convention Bureau. That's where I tend to send everybody to grab them. They're also available throughout the area of Koochiching, northern St. Louis County.
I'll let you have this one.
The founding and mission of the Voyager Country ATV Club was to build a safe, environmentally sustainable trail system with multiple destinations connecting Northland communities for all. And that's a key word, is all, because our trails get used by multiple user groups, whether it's sled dog people, bikers, hikers, guys doing research, loggers, just a multitude of different people use the trail systems, and so they truly do benefit everybody. And the way this all started, and Drake is probably very, much more familiar with this story than I am, but is my understanding there was two guys, Bruce Bestie and Steve Koch, out of Elephant Lake, that were actively trying to connect these forest roads and old trail alignments. And at the time, they didn't know that they were doing it, that both were doing it. So then they kind of got together and they had this vision to create the club. And that's basically how it evolved. And in a lot of these alignments, and this is something I always talk about, is a lot of these trail alignments that are there, they've been used for hundreds of years, especially the old narrow gauge railways that were put in by the Virginia Rainy Lake Lumber Company back in the 1900s in that area, and there was an extensive network of those trails. So, almost from the beginning of time, these have been used, and they've become a part of our cultural heritage here in northern Minnesota, to go to our hunting shacks, access your favorite trail to bird hunt, or go to your deer stand, or whatever it may be, or even to go blueberry picking. So, a lot of people in the metro area, there's some folks that are against all of this. They're against our way of life. They don't like this at all. And down there, they have the ballparks. They have the Twin Stadium, the Viking Stadium, the Minnesota Wild Stadium. They have the museums, the theaters, and all of that stuff that's publicly funded. And those are things that attract people to those communities to live and work. And here in northern Minnesota, we have our natural resources and the great outdoors that attract people to our communities to live and work and contribute to our tax base. And that's why I feel that these recreational opportunities are very important up here, to attract people to live and work here. Maybe somebody wants to build a plant here or something like that someday because of the opportunities that we have. The mission to construct and maintain safe, sustainable ATV trails. This is a bridge over, what's the name of that flowage, Drake? I'm not real familiar with it. It's off the...
Oh, right outside of Crane Lake?
Yeah.
I think it's unnamed.
It's unnamed. So this is a structure that was built in conjunction with the ATV Club, the Snowmobile, or the Voyager Trail Society, I believe, and the IRRB. So this was a problem area for a number of years for, the ATVs couldn't get across it, but the Snowmobile Club had to wait until they had enough ice and the conditions improved enough that they could drive their groomers across. And the big thing with our construction is this sustainability side. So the trails are all constructed in a method that is in the DNR manual that we have to abide by. So they end up to be, well designed, sustainable, meaning they're going to last, and more importantly, they don't hurt the environment. All of the trail alignments have been vetted on a EAW, Environmental Assessment Worksheet. It's right now it sits as 25 miles or over, you have to do an EAW. Some of the anti-folks want to change that to a mile. That would be detrimental to what we're trying to do because EAWs are very expensive. The EAW for Koochiching County was $160,000. It took a year and a half to do. And it's all about connectivity, connecting county roads, forest roads, and historical trail corridors. There's a vast network of forestry roads around our area. We have the Mulpus roads. We have the forestry roads over on the east side of Highway 53. And some of those alignments provide connections to our trails. We have an agreement with Mulpus that we won't identify any of the Mulpus roads as trail alignments. They just out of respect for what their wishes are, that's what we've agreed upon. And then we've, in return for that, we've gotten permission to construct trails on key pieces of their property. And it's all on a handshake with the Mulpus. And then once upon the completion of the trail networks, you can see the finished product there on a trail that was done, I believe that was last year. And that's what the finished product that we end up with. And they link to the townships and communities here in Koochiching. We have yet to construct a trail. However, we do have the Blue Ox Trail. But they're going to make those vital connections. And once we make the connection to International Falls, the economic opportunity there for not only International Falls, but the outlying communities in the county is exceptional. There was a economic impact study done in 2023 that was commissioned by the ATV Joint Powers Board. Ricky sits on the ATV Joint Powers Board. And that's a joint powers board between Koochiching, St. Louis, and Lake County. It's kind of a model board right now. We're very fortunate to have it. Is what we do as clubs is we bring our projects and ideas to that board, and they kind of vet them, and then they take that in a package, and then we'll move them on to try and get funding from the dedicated ATV account, bonding, whatever it may be, and they also provide some other assistance as well. But you can see in 2023, over 219,000 riders use the trails. In Koochiching, they're using the forestry trails. Maybe some are using forestry roads. Some are using the Blue Ox. And then Lake and St. Louis counties. Those are significant numbers that it was a big eye-opener. And those numbers are generated by using trail counters. And then the University of Minnesota Extension Office uses some formula based on the trail counters to come up with those numbers, and they also used little postcards that you could fill out at area businesses. So it's a key instrument for us to use when we're trying to secure funding. There's been many signature projects that Voyageur Country has done, and this is the one that set the hook on me to get involved, and it's the steel bridge over the Million River. That essentially linked the east to the west. It was getting over that river was the hard part, so it shortened the distances up. They backed a crane in, I'm told, 3 miles backwards to set part of that bridge. And that bridge was funded primarily by the IRRB and, the other sources. Was the bonding in there or no?
It was mainly IRRB.
Mainly IRRB.
Yeah.
They've been very instrumental in everything that they've done and where they can in that taxing district. Unfortunately, nobody found iron ore here. We have many other spots that are destination sites. We call these overlooks because it sounds better, sounds warm and fuzzy, rather than saying a shelter. So this is one that's gotten a lot of notoriety. This is the Military Crossroads Frontline Pavilion. So this is a memorial site to remember everybody that was on the front lines during COVID and all the sacrifices that they made, and also to our veterans. And this is in the middle of the bush, and all of those flagpoles are lit with solar lights. It's absolutely spectacular. And there's also opportunities there for folks to remember loved ones that either served in the military or the front lines that lost during the COVID era. You can purchase a plaque and put it up on one of the kiosks there. One of the first plaque that actually went up there was Kevin Grosheim's, the park ranger that passed away. And our club has grown significantly. We estimate that, it changes all the time. We have 700 members that pay dues annually. We say we're the largest club in the state of Minnesota, and I believe that's true. And, that community support and the growth reflects strong local and regional support for the recreational ATV activities. We also won an award, I didn't put it on here, from Novak. It's the national award from our peers it's a National Off-Road Vehicle Association, which is composed of, four-wheel drive trucks, dirt bikes, ATVs. I'm sure there's a couple other vehicles, or sometimes of transportation that are in there too. And we hold a number of different events and fundraisers. Our spring ride and fall rides are well known. Riders come in from all over the place. This particular photo is I dubbed it the legendary sheep ranch. It truly is. I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's absolutely beautiful. It's one of the most beautiful pieces of property in northern Minnesota. When you get a sunny day and all the colors are lit up, it's just fantastic. This year, we had a record-setting event there. We raised $20,000 at the event itself. We raised another $30,000 in our raffle ticket sales. We had a donation come in from a private individual. Well, it kind of came in, thinking outside the box way. It came in totally legal and everything, but $50,000 to match an RTP grant. We had $10,000 pledged from the Voyager Trail Society. We had a $5,000 donation from PCA. We had another $2,500 come in from a private individual that bought a plaque for a loved one, and then earmarked the other $20,000 for a specific project that he had in mind. So this year, it's estimated that we've brought in well over $100,000 in our fundraising efforts. And I'm told by Ron Potter, he's the president of ATV Minnesota, that we raise more money than any other club in the state. And he said, you guys should be proud of that, and you should talk about it. Because when you go to leverage the public monies, they want to know, what are you guys doing to raise money? So, there's a lot of time and effort that goes into this stuff. Last year at the Capitol, I noticed, and several of us noticed, that it's going to be more challenging going forward. We have the resistance from the folks that are pushing back. There's actually been anti-ATV legislation that's been introduced 3 years in a row. It hasn't gotten any traction, but it's there every year. And there's Christy Purcell and McGowan out of Duluth that carry that legislation in the Senate and the House. And Purcell sits on the Environmental, Natural Resources and Policy Committee. I testified on a bill there for $360,000 for phase one of our trail in Koochiching County, which would be the first one ever constructed. We didn't even make it out of the committee. It didn't get into a bill at that amount, and then it ultimately ended it getting knocked down to $100,000, and we should have had that money July 1st. We still don't have it in our pot yet to start construction on this trail. It's all permitted, ready to go. We have everything, but that $100K that we're waiting on. So, noticing that and discovering that the club was formed as a 501c7, which is a social club. A social club is restricted in its ability to raise money. You can only raise 35% more than what your dues generate, and then there's all kinds of strings tied to it. So I went to the club and suggested that we switch either to a 501c3 or form a foundation. And right now we're in the process of switching to a 501c3. We're pretty well down the road. We've got all the documents. We have everything in order. We've wrote a very convincing argument that we should be a 501c3 because what we do benefits everybody. It truly does. We even have, on the portion of our trail, the most grueling endurance race in the world takes place on one of our trails. And, that's that, what do they call it now? The Ultra 135. I mean, I don't know if you ever heard about trying to get on there. The website crashes when they open it up. You got people from all over the world, and they go on our trail. And that's a great thing. So now we're thinking outside the box. We're taking a little bit different approach to things. And these are some of our sources of revenue currently. Club dues, the Minnesota DNR account funds, that's the dedicated account from our license fees. Those are our monies. They should be allocated to what we're trying to do. Bonding money, we've had a bonding request in for the last 3 years for the Blue Ox Trail, which is in dire need of some work. I've done a bunch of research into the Blue Ox and that corridor and the legislation behind it. And actually, MnDOT is supposed to be maintaining it and preserving it for future transportation. And unfortunately, they haven't spent a nickel on it. And then we're looking at various grant programs that are out there. There's RTP. We're looking for other ideas. Any other grants that are out there. Possibly the KEDA can help with that. And we're going to have a strong focus on getting tax deductible donations that would be tax deductible for individuals. And this is what, when we get our funds, these are the things that we create. This is a bridge, I think it's on the Pelican River Road or somewhere down there, that was done last year. And this is what the finished product is. It's not just the old muddy trail in the woods. It's a sustainable trail that's environmentally friendly, and it keeps people on the trails, generates revenue for our area communities, and the most important thing, it generates revenue during the shoulder seasons, spring and the fall. So, like I said, we're transitioning from the 501c7 to the 501c3 for enhanced donation efforts, and from there, with that, we're hoping that there are people out there, or corporations, or whomever, that might want to make significant contributions and take advantage of the tax deduction. You have the Give to the Max Day. You have those opportunities, and we're going to try and capitalize on all of that stuff. Direct mailings. We have our 700 members. We'll be doing direct mailings to them. Maybe you'll scratch the surface and get somebody who steps up to the plate. When one thing that we know too is if we're able to raise money this way, we can get things done faster, and you can build the trails for less money than when you go out and get bonding money or even the ATV dedicated account money. There's the requirements kind of drive up the price, and then whenever you do a public project, that seems to be the case, right? It's more expensive than someone doing it in the private sector. So we'll be engaging corporations, membership, and individuals for contributions. We've taken a stab at the corporate with PCA, and I had a long conversation with Tyson Whitbeck about that. He knows how important things like this are to attract people to come and live and work in our communities, put people in the schools. In fact, they're thinking about changing their whole program when they go to recruit employees, not just having a stack of paper on the counter. They're going to show what's available. This is where you're going to live. These are the opportunities that you have. And we're most certainly grateful for all of our partnerships. Koochiching County's been wonderful. St. Louis County, same thing there. DNR Parks and Trails, the ATV Joint Powers Board, the IRRB, all of the communities in Koochiching and northern St. Louis. For example, we did a trail plan with our 3 phases in it. We did it that way, so hopefully we wouldn't have to keep going back to each city, county, whatever, to get letters of support. Everybody that we went to, I did not get a letter from Northholm. I still have time to do it. I have to follow up on it, but everybody was, promptly. KEDA submitted a letter. Very thankful for that. It all means a lot. So when we put our package together for funding, now, for instance, this year we're only going to request funds for engineering. It's around 100 grand out of the dedicated account. We're hoping that we'll get that because we'll finish the engineering on phase 2 and then start the engineering on phase 3. Phase 3 will connect us to the Blue Ox. And then, of course, we have AT Minnesota, our members, and supporting businesses when we have our events, our spring and fall rides. For example, Larry Keep donates all of the pulled pork. And we'll feed at the fall event. Last year we fed like 340 people. And there's probably well over 400 there. And so that, he's putting up $500 of, a donation. And then, Kyra donates through her business. There's just a number of people. They also buy advertising on trailers that we have. We sell advertising on there for $100 a square foot. It's proven to be effective. And then the trailers sit at our events and they get their exposure there. And in the end, we're committed to, you can see I did this late yesterday, typos. We're committed to our mission, which is community connectivity, which is the biggest thing, right? Connecting all of these communities and townships, trail development, and sustainable recreation. And when they built this club, they created a monster. It's pretty cool. But thank you guys for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for the update and the information.
And if you want to keep those trail maps, keep them. If you don't, I'll collect them and get them back to the BCB.
Yeah, I know that you said there.
Well, they're popular.
Yeah.
Are they online also?
Yeah, the map's online. This is what Military Crossroads looks like kind of during the day.
Oh, cool.
You can actually drive there in a pickup and check it out. And we'd like to take a group from this area, from the falls up north here, and go to the sheep ranch next year. And I talked about it and get a big group and take you guys on a tour so you can see what's really going on, and just how beautiful it is, and it's just a great way to go and recreate.
I'm involved with the Koochiching Warrior Initiative in town, and we do like fishing trips and a few things. I think maybe, like you said, you can access in a truck. If we get a group of veterans together to make a trip up there sometime when it's feasible.
Sure, let's put that together, Pete.
Yeah, we talked to me, you and talked to Chris at the Veterans office, and
that would be cool.
We'll do that sometime. Yeah.
Mr. Chair, if I could too. We talk about economic development on this table all the time, and I think tourism obviously is an established, but this trail development and continued developing trails and connecting communities is probably dollar for dollar one of the best things that we can do, and you guys can do. And I applaud Tom the amount of energy and time you put into this. It's obviously a passion, but it is key to connectivity, especially some of these smaller communities in the shoulder seasons. It's tough. And the other part, and Tom's shared a little bit of the frustration, I don't want to go too far into it, but just the governmental bureaucracy that's required. People wonder why it costs so much money. Well, all the strings that are attached, all the rules you got to follow, and it's part of the sustainability, but it adds to the cost. And people don't appreciate it, I think sometimes when they're riding, just what goes into establishing a trail, keeping it maintained, and just getting it started in the first place. So really, hats off to you and your group for all the work that you guys have done.
Thank you. And anything, with this next endeavor, trying to raise this money is going to be really important. And I know how tough it is in the community. There's people asking for money for different things all the time. And this is a little bit like I say outside the box a little bit. It's something different. And there's a lot of people that have passion about it. And hopefully it'll work out.
Mr. Chair, if I may. When I believe it was the Joint Powers Board did a study through the University of Minnesota on the economic benefit. they had the forms that the riders, they'd hand them out in the trail counters, and that's how they came up with the $31 million for that whole area, which I don't think the people in the know were overly surprised, but I think it opened some eyes from partner agencies that in a rural setting, the value of that to all of these communities. So.
Ricky Roach piping in here. Tom, did you tell them how much that the study did for money on the income for the tourists and people using them trails?
Yeah, I referenced it in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, the amount of money it would bring into the community, seeing as where it would be at the end of the trailhead, and people coming up to International Falls, then I think that would kick right in with Little Fork trying to get their campground going out there out in the gravel pit. If we could get stuff connected from International Falls across that Blue Ox, I think it would be a major increase in revenue over the summertime for International Falls.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the impact, the results of the impact study are impressive. They're impressive.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
And
See you, Tom.
Yep.
Yeah.
Commissioner Roach, thank you for your efforts on the Joint
And
Power
I'll
Board
pass
too.
our idea along at my next meeting and work it out, and I think that would be great.
Yep, absolutely.
Because I always get them together.
Right. Yeah, we've done some stuff on the houseboats with those groups.
Yeah.
Yeah, they love it. Yeah. Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it. Yeah,
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, Tom.
All right, the next item is the director's report, Director Nevin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Coming on the heels of Thanksgiving, and I just got back from a vacation, so you can see the director's report's pretty skinny, but a couple things I just did want to reference. We're finishing up here with our first segment of cold weather testing prior to the holidays, and just reporting that things are going very well. The cold weather's actually helped a lot in that regard, but we did have a little hiccup in our box, and the reason I put that in there is because, again, we have an aging facility over there, and associated with that is things cost more to fix, but we didn't skip a beat with our customers. We were able to accommodate them after we worked with our refrigeration provider. And Tim Jackson's daughter, and this is significant just from an operations standpoint. She's taken over the role as on-site supervisor, manager, whatever, and that entails many things. But her father, Tim Jackson, has been with us since the very beginning, and before that he was involved. But he's retired due to health issues, but he still showed up and wanted to help out, and he spent some time with us helping out where he could, and really applaud him and his efforts. And so we're off and running. And also want to I always got to thank the folks that also that help in any way they can. Ron Sutherland of JLR, he's just been terrific, and our partners over at Einerson's. Whenever we have an issue that we can't overcome or we need some help with, they always step up and help us. So it takes a lot of folks to make this go. And I was just talking to a group last night that's here with us now, and I just asked them how things are going, and they just said, we just love coming here, and we love the support that we get. So that's always, they didn't have any complaints, which again tells us that we're doing the right thing. So I've been referencing these Minnesota Extension Services, this project we've been working on to identify folks that came to the county and conduct a series of interviews. Commissioner Hanson is on our committee, as well as Fran Einerson, and so we've all been working on trying to identify some folks and then actually conduct interviews. And I just finished up my third interview, and they're absolutely terrific in that these folks came here, and we've got a series of questions that as we've tried to figure out how to do this. But all I essentially did is, well, tell me your story. Well, how did you end up here? And 25 minutes later, they talk about the reasons they came here. And they're all a little bit different, but in the end, it's the things that we take for granted. I just interviewed a couple from Chicago that moved out of inner city Chicago with their family. And safety was just something, and the friendliness of their neighbors and helpfulness of their neighbors. They moved from Chicago to outside Little Fork, rural Little Fork, and absolutely love it. And the schools have been great. The neighbors have been just terrific. So those kind of testimonials, and we're going to work with Darcy and KCC TV. Appreciate working with those folks to actually record some of these interviews and use them as marketing, as a way to show people that you can come to Cooch and enjoy the many things that again we often take for granted: solitude, natural resources, schools, small town, and all that stuff is echoed in these interviews. So I don't know, Commissioner, if you have any thoughts on that, but
I think that's reminding us where we live. And we maybe need that once in a while, but
Yes, we do.
you know, I even stole one of the little few sentences that they told me that this is a privilege to live here. Absolute privilege.
Sure. No, I agree.
so we're looking forward to putting that all together. But anyway, and I'm looking forward for you folks to see some of these interviews. But one other thing I just want to add quickly is into school open house. I included a flyer that Carrie Myers, the new owner of the former Indus School, is having a open house event Tuesday, December 30th, noon to 4, for basically an opportunity to walk through and tour the facility. And then 4:30, they're going to have a little talent show and a food offering. Encourage everyone to get out and if you haven't been there, to stop by and support Mr. Myers. And he's exploring a number of different reuses for the facility. But applaud his stepping forward. And the good news is the school is being heated as we speak, and we've got activity in there, which is good. And I would just lead with want to wish everyone a happy holiday, happy Christmas, and hope you'd have time to enjoy it with friends and family. And thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. I have a medical appointment that was rescheduled, and so I have to get on the road. So, Vice Chair, you are in charge. What I'd like to do before I leave is to set the date for the next meeting, which, if it's the same time, would be January 14th, which is a Wednesday. Correct?
Yeah, I think that's gonna be too early for getting all the bills.
So we'll
done.
have to do the 21st,
That would-
or we could do sometime, well, Martin Luther King Day is on 19th. But the 21st would be a Wednesday the week after, and that probably it's the third week, so it probably would work.
works for me.
10 a.m.
Anyone else? All right. Thank you. The meeting is now in the hands of our very able Vice Chair, Chair
Well,
Hanson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Have a good day.
Safe travel now. Thank you.
Safe travels. Merry
Thank you.
Christmas.
No, I'm not traveling. I'm only going to the clinic.
Oh, okay. Well, either way, safe travels.
Yeah.
Stop at Birchdale on the way.
Yeah.
All right. And also, happy holidays.
Yeah, you as well. You as well.
Thank you for your willingness to participate in this group, in this organization. It's the main purpose is to benefit our citizens in Koochiching County, and I think I'm very positive about that. So thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yep. Thank you.
And Paul, you're done with your report?
I hope so.
You get coffee?
No.
Oh, we had it at 11?
Oh, we're just wrapping up. It'll be
Oh,
a couple more minutes.
all right.
Thank you.
Well, we'll start with,
Oh, we've mostly got nothing and we'll be out here.
Yeah. City county updates?
Yeah.
yeah, well, we'll start with the county. You're here, and Mr. Roach is listening.
Yes. Well, we finished up our
Look at that, yeah.
budget and have a levy in place, hopefully a low levy in place for everyone in Koochiching County. And I had a meeting on Monday with the local DNR fisheries, and the fishery of Rainy Lake is very stable and a very good fishery. They were very happy with the results of slot limits and reduced limits, but it has made a big difference on Rainy Lake. And Rainy River is always a great research or great fishery also. Birchdale gets hit up pretty good in the spring and the fall. Ricky?
Yes, just want to let everybody know our jail is pretty much finished up. We will be doing some tours of it here, I believe, I don't know if it's next week or the week after, for the public to come through and see. They're just finishing the next couple punch lists that are left, and it's pretty much occupied. We should be able to take over to fill it on January 14th, it looks like. And one other thing that I want to bring up is I met with the CEO of National Bank of Commerce, and they have got a whole bunch of money for us to take and be able to try to get investors and stuff to take and turn around, and anybody that's trying to go through Keter or something like that there, we have another local bank to be able to do commercial business with. So, very good meeting with them guys. They want to be up in International Falls with our community, and I told them that we'd try to get them guys a date to meet with us at the Keter meeting.
Yes, he's a very nice fellow. I've met him in the past.
Yep, I believe Greg's met with them too, so that's about it.
Well, thank you, Commissioner. Mayor, how about the City of International Falls?
Well, I've met with Brad Roden, the CEO of NBC, so he made his rounds, and yeah, one of those things that falls into the realm of opportunity. You know, how do you start a business? You know, you could start with the paintbrush, but to start a vet hospital, you have to start with the big building, and that takes money. And so all these pieces are really important to the community, and so that's exciting. And as the Koochiching County Sheriff's Department is moving into the new jail, potentially, Commissioner, if an agreement appears before the city, there may be an opportunity to move our police department back into the old facility, which I think will be a good thing if it materializes. There's news on an ambulance, the viability of the service, and the direction that appears to be headed. Would like to thank the county board for their attention to that matter. That I want to point that out in terms of economic development. The support for that service and the level of care that we need. It's really hard to have a vet clinic and a Menards and a hospital and no ambulance. So keeping the services that our residents care about the most is a draw to the community. So once again, thank you for that. There's always dissension on boards and whenever you're trying to make progress, and I just want to reiterate that I see a lot of progress happening. We have some today. There's always opportunity out there. There's many folks inquiring about how to move forward, how to come to the community. I think there'll be some exciting times in the next quarter. And of course, we'll hopefully get to play a role in that here as board members. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I would echo all the mayor's comments there, and we have also finalized our tax levy, and part of it with the ambulance. The mayor brought up maybe this year we should levy some money for the ambulance, and we did, just to try and keep a little ahead of water, and all this will help keep the ambulance service going, and we'll get it up and running the way we hope. And I just like to again make a comment about, I bet 5 years ago people would have said, what's going on with that business park? Well, now, little patience, and how many of the things wouldn't have been coming there if it wasn't already shovel ready, as they say in the business, the patience and time and slowly filling it up over the long haul. And hockey's booming in town, best I can tell on the weekends when I go by Kerry. But it really is. You talk about economic development, motels and restaurants and things like that. I want to give a quick shout out to anybody. The Elks is having their Ugly Sweater Tom and Jerry party. I believe anybody's welcome, because we're going to be trying to also raise some money for Best Christmas Ever on Friday night. And Merry Christmas to everybody.
And Santa is going to be there, right?
Oh, thank you. Yes, breakfast with Santa on Saturday morning for your little ones from 9 to 11. Don't worry, I point them to the right guy when they get there. There were a couple yesterday looked at me when I was ringing the bell. Oh, Santa's in his sweaties today. Said, I only wear the uniform when I'm working, kids. I have nothing else.
All right, well, thank you, Counselor. In the greater part of Koochiching, I did have an opportunity to chat with some folks from the North Home, and we actually talked about the change in climate and up at the North Pole, how things are melting and so forth. And according to them, Santa and his staff are looking for a place to move to. And the word is that North Home is one of the considerations.
Yeah.
And I also want to thank the City Council and the County Board here. It's kind of surprising. This has already been, are we 25 years old, this organization?
Yeah.
It's so we've stuck together, and I appreciate the fact that you've allowed me to be here.
Santa needs to make it snow so we can have the reindeer have a place to land.
Well, he told me this morning that he's been assured in Washington that there'll be snow.
Yeah.
Big Falls, they just got turned down for their Phase 3 grant for their park, but they're going to reapply, and evidently behind the scenes they've been told that there's a good chance for success. And if you haven't been through that park, it's worth just driving through there. I don't know that any place in our county wouldn't like to have the assets that they have there right now. It's just terrific. Little Fork, this Friday and Saturday. Friday from 4 to 7 and Saturday from noon to 5. They're going to have a free, family-friendly little celebration. There'll be characters in costume, hot chocolate, cookies, and it sounds just perfect for what a small town is. And I can't top the sale of the end of school. I was going to tell the chairman that I was appreciative to be able to take part in last month's meeting via phone from my nature office. And I was going to tell a deer story, and then I couldn't decide which one. Should it be the time that I sat for 250 hours for a deer that was already harvested? Or from the time I rode one? So we'll let the chairman next time decide. Yeah, because I didn't. I did my best, and I even had my legs up on the withers, like you'd see on a rodeo, I didn't stay on 8 seconds. Just the fact that the two entities are keeping this going, I think is a great thing, and I'd like to express wishes for Christmas and New Year's to the staff. I know it's amazing, all the things that are brought up that you work on and no one knows about. So, what else we got here, Paul?
That's it, Mr. Chair.
And we've got a date already set.
Yep.
I'd like to wish everybody a wonderful holidays, and I dropped off a little card here for everybody. You know, when we have the sturgeon contest in Birchdale, we get around 100 kids.
Yeah.
And I think where we live, you know, that's a pretty amazing thing.
Absolutely.
So, advertise it, and maybe I'll see you at the end of school.
Okay.
We need a motion to adjourn.
I'll move.
I'll second.
It's done.